When a tragedy happens, the public doesn't just learn about it through facts. They learn about it through the stories that are chosen, the details that receive attention, and the way those details are presented. For years, TMZ has built its reputation on being the outlet that gets the story first, from celebrity scandal to major breaking news. The company's entire identity has been built around exclusive information and behind-the-scenes access. But that same approach has also made TMZ one of the most controversial outlets in entertainment journalism. Critics have accused the company of using aggressive tactics and sensational coverage, especially when reporting on personal tragedies, and now that debate has returned following TMZ's coverage of the whole Nolan Wells situation. As TMZ released new details about the case, some viewers praised the outlet for bringing information to light, but others accused the company of turning a tragedy into a spectacle, arguing that the way the story is covered could influence how the public views Nolan, his friends, and the investigation itself. Some critics have gone further, arguing that TMZ's coverage has appeared to favor Nolan's white friends and shape the narrative around the case. Let's talk about it. Everything in this video is alleged. I'm only spreading the word on the curb and in no way giving my own personal opinion. When Nolan Wells' disappearance became a national story, TMZ quickly became one of the main outlets covering every new development. The outlet published a steady stream of updates, from statements by people close to Nolan to newly released information from the investigation to footage and details that quickly spread online, including a recording. For TMZ, this is a familiar approach because the company built its reputation by breaking stories before traditional media outlets, often focusing on exclusive footage, insider information, and developments that other outlets do not have at the time of their publishing. Obviously, as you can imagine, this comes with a whole host of ethical questions. We've spoken about it on this channel previously. I'll link it at the end of this video if you want to learn more about some of their most outrageous scandals. And this all ties into this whole Nolan Wells situation because some viewers argue that the coverage went beyond simply informing the public. They believe the constant stream of updates turned an ongoing tragedy, because at the end of the day, this is somebody's child who will not be returning home alive, into something closer to a daily spectacle, where every new detail becomes another piece of content to consume. And for a lot of people, they do feel like, you know what, TMZ, you could move in a more respectful way instead of talking about like new update every 5 minutes.
Now TMZ. I've been giving y'all the side eye throughout this entire Nolan Wells investigation because of how y'all been reporting things. But now I'm starting to notice a pattern. Is y'all cool?
What doesn't make sense is why would they, if they had something, if there'd been foul play and something happened to Nolan or someone did something to Nolan on that boat, why would they be talking about it loudly while he's on the phone to a tow company?
Because they were all drinking and their prefrontal cortex are not fully developed, so they make bad decisions. I mean, isn't that obvious? But why are you not questioning why the tow was canceled? Why are you not questioning why they went to Fort Bayou before they went back to the original place where they left? And then back to Fort Bayou. Why are you not questioning why none of his white friends who we last saw him with have come forward besides one? Those are the questions we need to be asking. I also think it's weird that y'all still have a post up about the Cajun Navy accusing Ben Crump of lying, but you haven't put out the evidence that shows that they in fact did say that Nolan Wells was found fully clothed. And it's available, readily available.
Told Todd Terrell Nolan was face down, still fully clothed on the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would have meant that he drowned. Now, when we say he was found fully clothed on the beach, it was in the same vicinity of where he possibly drowned.
Now, I'm also concerned about why y'all are playing the audio from the emergency call with music in the background, when it is clearly available without any music, so people can actually hear what is being said and make their own decision about it.
Detail assistance, Vicky.
And this is outside of the fact that y'all keep pushing headlines that say that he drowned and there's no cause of death that has been made clear to us. Also, y'all keep putting black people in front of us to talk about the loss of Nolan Wells, as though that's supposed to change the way that we see what is happening, especially someone who is a known antagonist to the black community and we all know is biased. I'm just confused. I'm asking questions. Now, I wasn't going to say nothing at first because I was choosing to give the benefit of the doubt. But now that I'm continuing to look through all of the details that you all have put out so far, I'm questioning why you're reporting it this way.
But the backlash against TMZ didn't stop at accusations of sensationalism. As the coverage continued, a different criticism started to grow, that TMZ was not just reporting on the case, but influencing how people understood it. The reason some viewers reached that conclusion was not because of one article, it was because of the pattern they believed they were seeing. So TMZ decided that they wanted to post a number of articles and a number of videos about how his friend said he was fine, about how his friend said that he wanted to come back to the mainland from the island by his own means, and about how apparently there was no wrongdoing. Now, of course, nobody is saying that that is necessarily wrong to post, because those are claims that those people have made, but they are saying that it is trying to paint a picture. Now, keep in mind that there is obviously a racial element to this whole situation when you take into consideration that a lot of people did feel like TMZ was pushing this narrative that the friends were innocent. Of course, at the time of making this video, officially there has been no conclusion on this, whether they're innocent, whether they're not, so I can't say whether they are. People did start to feel like TMZ was starting to take sides in this whole debate. And when you keep in mind what we discussed previously about the fact that TMZ was posting a number of articles and videos a day, you do start to understand why people would be upset that a certain narrative is being pushed so heavily and aggressively.
So you mean to tell me all of these witnesses saw Nolan Wells heavily drinking, but they didn't see anything else that happened to him? Like, they're really pushing this narrative so hard. And TMZ should be ashamed of themselves.
If you ask critics why they believe TMZ shaped the narrative around Nolan Wells' death, they usually point out to a pattern of coverage. On the 8th of July, TMZ reported Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter's statement that investigators had found no evidence of a crime while the investigation remained ongoing. The statement came from law enforcement, but critics argued the headline immediately shifted the public conversation, moving attention away from unanswered questions and towards the idea that Nolan's friend had been unfairly blamed. 2 days later, TMZ published an interview with Nolan friend Javon Williams where he pushed back against the way the case was being discussed online, arguing that it was turned into a racial issue and saying that it was not a race thing. However, he did say there was a lot of things that weren't adding up. He also discussed the viral video connected to the case and disputed the way some people were interpreting it. TMZ later published statements from Warren Hudson, another friend of Nolan's, about the final hours before Nolan's disappearance. Hudson later addressed why he did not attend Nolan's funeral, saying he had received unaliving threats and feared for his safety. Instead of focusing only on the allegations surrounding the group, these stories also presented the friends as people facing public backlash themselves. The coverage also included voices pushing back against racial interpretations of the case. TMZ featured comments from Nolan's football coach who said he had never seen racial tensions within the team and did not believe race played a role in what happened. Individually, each report can be defended as legitimate coverage of new developments, but critics argue the issue was the accumulation of those stories. And when you consider, as we've spoke about in the past, that there have been a lot of stories, videos, op-eds, interviews, everything you could think of about this topic, and it does seem like there's a narrative that's being pushed, it does lead to the question, what exactly are they trying to tell us? What do they want us to take away from all of these articles?
Ooh, things are getting spicy now. Warren's father tells TMZ that he's offering a $50,000 reward to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. On the same day that the other friend, Bert, decided to lawyer up and is threatening to sue people for defamation of character. Ooh, it's getting hot. You went to TMZ but didn't go to Ben Crump's office, where you know that there's already a $100,000 reward available for anyone that can point them in the direction of Nolan Wells unaliving. I think they're starting to fold. I think they're starting to turn on each other. You know why? Because the math is not mathing. On the same day that Officer Bad Body Built went on Nancy Grace's show and looked a fool, now you calling TMZ to tell them that you offering a $50,000 reward. And TMZ, why is y'all talking directly to the family? It's not even that y'all heard from a reliable source no more. TMZ is going straight to the family and communicating. So y'all in cahoots. This is the same judge that put out that statement, right? That's her husband? Okay. Okay, y'all keep saying that we shouldn't treat people like they're guilty if they're not guilty. Well, then you shouldn't be moving like you guilty.
If you haven't already done so, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you all in the next video. Shay out.